Hey everyone. Welcome to the Game Design Perspective. I am Mao,
And I am Santi.
and we are both designers working on the video game industry. As you might have guessed by the title of the video, we're going to be talking about the VGAs, the Video Game Awards nominees, and going through our thoughts and all of that, right?
Um,
Choosing our favorites. We're going
yeah,
to
also, I have maybe there's some development stories there that to tell. And I want to congratulate some friends that are nominated. So
yeah,
it's
it's
going to
going
be
to be fun.
fun.
Just real quick disclaimer. Remember, guys, that everything we say on this video is based on our opinion and our experiences. This does not represent anything else beyond us, right? Or any of our experiences. Does not represent any of the studios we have worked on, or will work, or are working on, or any of the projects either, right?
This is our opinion alone.
Yep.
So, the Video Game Awards.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, these are fun. So, yeah,
We're gonna be disagreeing on a lot of things.
I think the game of the year is controversial, and I think
Very controversial.
so. Let's go at it. So here are all the nominees. I think we
Yeah.
can start best esport event. You're such into esports lately, you know.
Quick story. The only esport, if it ever actually got considered as an esport that I actually got into, was Smash. I used to play a lot of Smash, especially Smash 4 or Smash for Wii U. Right, I even attended some tournaments, some local tournaments. Right,
You played
actually,
against the best player in the world.
yes, that was really fun. I went to my first ever tournament, the Smash tournament. Right, I mean, I was it was something really new to me, and yeah, I got registered and everything, and I was on pools, right, for the tournament, and the very first player I got to play against
It's the
was
Smash player in the
MK
world.
Leo. MK Leo, like, he's known today as the best Smash player in the world. Back then, he was probably the best Mexican Smash player out there, right? In the world, right? Mexican player in the world. Yeah,
No,
no,
yeah.
he was the best Mexican player, and yeah, he was the first one I got to play against, right? So he pretty much kicked my ass, uh, pretty much kicked me like good enough to kick me out of the tournament, right? Like I just
Straight
finished the
up.
pool and I was like, yeah, nothing to do here.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
that is like, oh my god, your first tournament that you end up playing who would
first
become
first player.
the
Yes, no, 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 no.
best in the world.
Yeah, I remember back then that he was actually about to go to his first ever. I think so, right? I'm not an expert on MK Leo, right? But he was about to go to his first ever uh, tournament on the US. So he was actually working on the visa and all of that stuff. Yeah, that was 2016.
Crazy, it was so crazy. So
Yeah,
let's
so
see. Best esport event. The two that I followed here is gonna be Evo 2023 and Valorant Champions. Those are
right.
the ones that I actually like follow a little bit. Evo, if I remember correctly, Evo was great this year. I saw the final of Street Fighter 6 and it was like insanely good.
Yeah.
And I think Evo is going up lately. I would like to say League of Legends World Championships. I want to like also kind of mention it because a friend of mine just got hired at Riot. So
Oh, nice.
James, like, good job. So now he's really into that scene. They really care at Riot. They really care about their competitive scene. At least that's
Yeah.
my perception.
Yeah, I think all about esports is it has a lot to do with whoever publishes the game and how much they want to support it, right? Like
Nintendo.
Yeah, I wish Nintendo had like got a little bit more involved in that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm not gonna get into that for Smash. But yeah, I
I
mean
think
the only
Evo
one
is my favorite one of those.
I think so too. Like this is very personal, but I do like fighting games a lot,
Me too.
and I'm not too much into the other ones, so I don't know much about League of Legends or Dota or Valorant. But I do play fighting games.
Jokes aside, I literally am designing combat because of my love of fighting games right now. So let's see the next one. Esports coach. I have no idea, Mao.
I have
I
no idea.
think
I have no idea.
I'm not that connected. I wish I was.
Yeah, no, no, no. I have no idea either. Right? Like we're not a lot into esports. Team,
I
same thing.
recognize here actually Fnatic from Valorant, but again, I
Yeah,
don't know enough. Their stories, where they
yeah.
come from. I think it's important.
Casting a vote here would just be based on popularity and not on whoever we think is better.
Not just
Right?
better, what are their stories, right? Like, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, me neither. Same here.
Yeah, no. Here, I would say I don't agree. I think Street Fighter 6 should be here.
I think so too. I
Yeah.
think Street Fighter 6 who should be here. Capcom has been pushing it so much into becoming an esport, and actually, it would be so cool because most of these games. Well, I think Counter Strike 2 was released this year, right? But it'd be
Yeah, but they
so
blocked the
interesting.
access to Counter Strike 1, so I'm kind of salty about that.
I didn't know that. So to be
Yeah.
honest, I would love to see something new here, and Street Fighter 6 was such a good addition.
Yeah, I think of course all this is biased, but
Of
I
course,
don't
yeah.
understand why. If I have to vote, I would vote for Valorant again, but I don't know. Like I think Street Fighter 6 should be here.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree on that. I'm not. I don't know.
Where is Moist Critical, man? That dude
I
is
don't
the
know.
best.
Yeah, but I don't know any of these guys. Not gonna lie. So
I know people make games. I watch them, but
all right,
that's where I would post my vote. But
I'm pretty sure all of them are great. Like they got nominated. So
what's
hopefully
your
we're
most
gonna be.
anticipated
Oh,
game?
you. Oh my god. Okay, so most of these games I anticipate them, but nothing even compares to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not even
Like
close.
I am expecting Hades
Yeah.
2. I am expecting Tekken 8, right? Like I'm not huge into Yakuza, right? Like I need to get more into Yakuza, but
Yeah.
I really want to play like a dragon, but
Yeah. I
and
like.
I'm not into Star Wars Outlaws. Not gonna lie. Like this has nothing to do with the game. I
Nah,
have
you.
never.
uh, Ubisoft
Yeah,
Toronto started working on it when I was still there, at least in the writing department.
right.
A lot of the writing staff uh, was part of Far Cry 6. At least
Right.
the narrative director of Far Cry 6 is working on this game.
Yep.
To me, it looks like an Uncharted. Like, no, I wish it looked like an Uncharted in Star
I think
Wars.
it looks so much like Watch Dogs.
Yeah, exactly. It feels a lot like
I
Watch
think
Dogs.
so.
It feels a lot like, yeah. It feels a lot like Watch Dogs, which is not a bad idea for a Star Wars game. I don't hate it. Obviously, let's get,
No, makes
yeah,
sense. It makes sense. Like a lot of it makes sense. Like the way they're reusing it, like it makes sense. It just feels
who do you think is gonna win
like
though?
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth
Nah, that's my
for
most
sure.
anticipated as well.
Now, if I had to pick a second place, I think I'd go for Hades 2.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
insane.
the programmer that works with me worked on Tekken, Tekken 7 and Tekken 8, and
Man,
we are working on combat together. He's amazing. He lives
that's
in Singapore. He's so good.
that's so
Um,
cool.
yeah, he actually told me like some things about like Unreal in general. Unreal Engine doesn't have
Oof.
rollback. It's an issue we have on our game right now.
All
So
right.
whenever we see like Guilty Gear or Tekken not having rollback, is because in order for a fighting game to have rollback in Unreal, they have to rewrite the whole netcode from the engine. They
Okay,
cannot
like
use what is on Unreal.
most of the viewers will not understand what rollback is. So
Oh yeah.
if you can explain a little bit on that.
So rollback is like a system in which like if there is lag or everything, it will roll back to a previous state based on the server, right? So you go back to a previous state. It's just a more stable, a more fair way of doing netcode in fighting games specifically. But in
Yeah,
general, rollback is like a great technique for online games.
yeah.
But Unreal doesn't have it on by default. So you have to. So actually, I know Tekken is not even using the animation system from Unreal.
All right.
The only thing they use in Unreal for Tekken is literally the rendering. That's it.
Wow.
They just render with Unreal.
Yeah, we were
This
talking
is
about this on a previous episode, that even when people hear that, oh, it is made in Unreal, it doesn't mean like it is this standardized version of Unreal. Like
yeah.
most studios actually like customize Unreal Engine to their needs, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times you need to compile the project before you
Yeah.
actually get into it, right? So yeah, just
It
because you
is
hear Unreal,
incredibly like in the case of Tekken, it was like quite a mess. So they use literally
wow,
Unreal just for rendering. They don't even use their animation system. They have a proprietary animation system that comes from all Tekken games. So they implemented their own animation system into Unreal to make Tekken in Unreal.
what? That's nuts.
That's crazy.
That's
It's
nuts.
crazy.
That's nuts.
It's insane what they did with Tekken. But there's a
Yeah.
reason why Tekken 7 didn't have rollback. It's because Unreal doesn't have access to it unless you do it from scratch. So a lot of fighting games that were made in Unreal, there's like, why don't you just do rollback? Well, because it's like the scope of making rollback in Unreal is huge.
Hard.
For
Yeah.
what I've heard, I am not a network programmer. Let's get this straight. But people in the industry talk, and this is something that actually happens. So the goal for this podcast is to demystify game development, and this is the kind of information we want to bring.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's fascinating. So yeah, who would we? What's our most anticipated game? We both agree is Final Fantasy 7.
I will just miss for Tekken 8. I will just be missing Noctis. Not gonna lie.
You know what? I'm surprised that Tifa is not there.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
with Final Fantasy 7 gaining such a huge amount of popularity, like especially Tifa. I mean, they would go for Cloud. I mean, Cloud is more popular, but Tifa makes so
Tifa is
much
more
sense.
popular. Tifa, I'm sorry, that's not true. Tifa is way more popular than Cloud.
Than Cloud, I do not
Yeah,
think so.
dude, especially after what happened with the Italian government. Like, I am sorry. I am sorry.
That was
Tifa.
yeah, no,
Tifa
no.
is a symbol. So no, I actually
Tifa-
I would say Tifa is more popular, and it matches Tekken a lot more.
Yeah,
A lot
Tifa would be
more.
Such a great match. Should be such a great match on Tekken.
So
like
we
way
both
more
agree
than
on this
Noctis.
one. Yeah,
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Like, I cannot wait for that game. Oh, best adaptation. Like, quick vote and not even like doubting for a little bit. The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
I mean, The Last of Us is great.
I liked it. Actually. I think the story of The Last of Us benefits from a TV series. Actually.
Yeah,
Um,
and also something very important that happened with The Last of Us is that it was like already a 9 to 10 year old project, right? That was out there. They had enough time to refine it, and a lot
Yeah.
of what the show did was refine this story, right? Like Bill, like that episode was so refined and so well
yeah.
written.
I was about to say that.
that I wish, like, if they already remade part one, right? But they should have added a little bit of that because it was so good.
Yeah, I listen. I watched Castlevania Nocturne. I think it was good, but I think as an adaptation from Castlevania, they kind of change characters freely
Yeah,
and stuff like that. It's like good on its own, to be honest, but it
yeah,
kind of leaves me craving more. The animation tends to be like amazing sometimes, but they tend to break their character sheets a lot. What I mean is that when you're making an animation project or any kind of animation, you have animation kind of like sheets that tell you like how the character looks in different angles, so you
yeah,
keep characters consistent. And in Castlevania, they tend to not do that.
yeah,
Often they
right.
tend to break character, like they tend to break the character designs a lot. I don't know. To me, sometimes it looks weird, but I think it's okay. I liked a lot more. I think they haven't been able to match Castlevania, the original Castlevania season 2.
Yeah,
I think my vote goes as well for the Super Mario Bros. Movie
yeah. I mean,
because because it actually grew the IP more than The Last of Us. Like,
not only that. Like, I mean, for Castlevania, what I think is that I'm not the biggest Castlevania fan, right? Like, let's get that straight.
yeah,
I've heard like whoever is a huge Castlevania fan are not truly happy with it, or
yeah,
so I've heard,
yeah.
right? On the Super Mario Brothers movie, like, yes, Mario and Luigi had some personality written into them in the games, but they did so much more with that, right? Like, they properly crafted a
They,
personality into them.
so what's the reason of an adaptation, Mao? I think it's like this is why I would like to like talk about the reason of an adaptation is to bring new people to the IP, to the intellectual
Yeah,
property, right? And
no, you're right.
I don't think that any of these was more successful than the Super Mario movie.
No, no. Even Gran Turismo, I wouldn't actually call Gran Turismo an adaptation.
Of
It's
what?
just based exactly right. It's just based on this story that happened back in Gran Turismo 5, I think, on the PS3, that they made this
Yeah,
Gran Turismo.
the Gran Turismo
Uh,
Academy.
yeah. And it's a really good movie. Like, I enjoyed it quite a lot, right? But I wouldn't call it a game adaptation. It's just, well, the game was there and they used the game to kick off the story, right?
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. It's a great movie. Like, I enjoyed it so bad. But yeah, to me, it's not that. So for me, it's between The Last of Us and Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah,
And Super Mario Brothers movie
easily.
takes the cake. Takes the cake. Like, it's such a good movie. Like,
Yeah,
it did what it had to do, right?
absolutely.
Some people were calling it like, oh, it's a little bit bland on that. What the movie had to accomplish is that it had to be like water for you.
Yeah,
Like, it had to be quick. It had to be fun. It had to be exciting, and it did all that perfect.
in spades.
Yeah,
And the thing is, like, there's a new generation of people that will grow up with Mario and be obsessed with Mario video games because of this movie, which serves its
Exactly.
purpose, you know?
exactly. And yeah,
Yeah, it's Mario.
it's Mario. Definitely, I love that.
But I
movie.
think The Last of
love
Us is
it.
gonna win, but it's Mario.
You think so? I don't know. I think more people watch the Mario movie and will vote on that.
Street Fighter
No.
6.
Multiplayer game, man.
Street Fighter 6. I think so.
okay,
The netcode is
as-
incredible.
As a multiplayer game, yeah, but my god, like, Mario Wonder is such a good game.
Yeah. Listen, Mario is a great game. Party Animals is a great game. Diablo 4, the beginning is great. And Baldur's Gate 3,
It's
we'll talk
great,
about it
yeah,
later.
but as a multiplayer, I think I will agree on Street Fighter
Yeah.
6. Like, it is, Mario Wonder has multiplayer, yeah, but Street Fighter 6 is completely based on multiplayer, right?
Yeah, and not just that, it's just the amount of features and charm that it brings to multiplayer. You know, have you watched streams or gone online in Street Fighter 6 just to watch freaks fight? It's amazing. That
Yeah,
alone is
yeah, no,
incredible.
no,
That
for
alone,
sure, for sure,
that alone is so good. Watching freak
for
fights in
for
Street
sure,
Fighter 6 is incredible. So
for
yeah,
sure.
I'll
Now,
say Street Fighter 6.
I love seeing party animals here too,
Me too.
right? I love seeing projects with that scope being nominated because it just shows that it was a very well scoped and very well designed
Yep.
game. So much so that it got huge in media and got nominated. So I love
Yeah,
seeing
yeah.
party animals here as well,
Me too.
right? I'm not surprised by Diablo 4 being nominated. Like, if of course it definitely deserves it, and Baldur's Gate
Yeah.
and Mario Wonder, but I am surprised by Party Animals, and I'm glad it did.
Yep.
And now I'm
So
also surprised that Mortal Kombat 1 is not here,
I am also surprised.
right?
I think the VGAs have something against fighting games a little bit.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna talk about it later, but yeah,
probably. Yeah. I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, I still, like, even if Mortal Kombat was there, I would have voted for Street Fighter.
yeah, me too.
Sports racing game.
Hot Wheels.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, Hot Wheels.
Hot
Easily.
Wheels,
I love that
which
game.
I am super hyped for that.
Yeah, I
Usually
love that
this
game.
category is filled with more of the same.
I love it.
So I love that. I love seeing Hot Wheels nominated, and
Yeah.
I would love seeing it win, right?
Hot Wheels. Easily.
Yeah, for sure. Hot
FIFA
Wheels,
has
yeah.
gone downhill since forever. Forza Motorsports is great, but I think Hot Wheels is amazing. It came out of nowhere. It's a very passionate team. Milestones is a great
Yeah.
studio, and I am like, like they love the IP, and they did the IP service, and
Yeah,
he just feels how you imagine driving a Hot Wheels is, and it's the online code is really great, the multiplayer is really great, the mechanics are great, the track design is great. Yeah, no, it's Hot Wheels.
it's a
Hot
great
Wheels.
game. Yeah, overall, what it does, it's just great. I hope more people actually get into it. To be honest, best sim strategy.
This is interesting. This is
I think
interesting.
I think you know which one I'm gonna vote here.
Yeah, Cities Skyline.
No. No, to be honest, I think I'd go for Fire Emblem Engage. Though Pikmin 4 is like making me some puppy eyes there as well.
Yeah, I want to play it as well. I want to play it as well.
Yeah, like Pikmin 4, like the thing with Pikmin 4 is that it just does so much more than just being a strategy game. Right? I love seeing it nominated here, but
Yeah.
Pikmin tends to have more than just a strategy into it, right?
It's very
It's
charming.
very interesting. It's very charming. Yeah. Advance Wars, I love
I
them.
love it, but it's a remake.
There's still remakes. There's still remakes, and I love that they brought them back. I love that
Yeah.
Nintendo brought Advance Wars back because
Such a good
they're such good games, man.
game. Super
Like,
charming. They're really fun. I love them.
no, and I think
My-
they're bringing them back right in the nick of time, right when turn-based strategy are getting a little bit of popularity, right?
Yeah.
Fire Emblem is bigger than ever, right?
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
Advance War is just benefiting on that, on those
I'll
Fire
s-
Emblem fans.
I'm gonna be honest. It came out too late for the VGAs, but my strategy game is Realms of Ruin. I pre-ordered it and I've been playing it religiously because the special edition has can play it early. I don't pre-order games
Right.
until the last second, and the reason is because the publisher doesn't get my money until like next month, so they cannot count my money towards like
Yeah,
rushing the game if I pre-order on the last second.
and you still
but-
get those benefits of pre-order.
Exactly, I still get the benefits. So that's what I did, and I think Realms of Ruin, I loved it. Is Warhammer Age of Sigmar, which is exactly what I play, and I think is the first. I think it's probably the first RTS that I've played that captures the feeling of playing Warhammer Fantasy, like Warhammer, like Age of Sigmar, especially because the Age of Sigmar is just starting to get video games now, because it's the
Yeah.
new version of Soft Fantasy. So that for me is like that's the best strategy game I played this year. I'm playing it now. It literally just came out by the recording of this video,
Yeah.
so I'm enjoying it a
Yeah,
lot.
I missed it.
Yours is
Missed it.
Fire Emblem Engage. Like
I am completely convinced of that. Yes, I love Fire Emblem Engage. I'm again, Pikmin 4 is making some eyes on me, like poppy eyes, because I also love it. But I do think I'd go like as a strategy game and purely based on strategy. I think I'd go Fire Emblem Engage. I'm not saying it's better than Pikmin 4 or anything. I'm just saying as a strategy game, I'd go for Fire Emblem Engage. It's a great game.
I agree. I can agree with that. Let's continue.
Don't play Pikmin 4. Family game. I'm
Mario,
not.
Super. Yeah, it's Mario Bros. Wonder.
Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Yeah. And I like their accessibility function of like, hey, if you're not good at video games, you can play this character and that cannot be harmed. And
Yoshi, the Yoshi's. No, dude, and everything it does, man. Like everything Mario Wonder does is just I mean, people are now complaining on New Super Mario Brothers, but they were actually really good games. They were pretty solid. But now you have all of all of that solid gameplay, and pushed even forward, right? You have these solid levels, but then you have the Wonder Seed that completely transforms the level. It's just huge. What they did is huge. So like every level has way more care crafted into it, right? And then you have all of these badges that improve your character, right? That you can do so much more. Like, man, it's just so good. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is just so good that I find hard to it hard to find things to nitpick and say, oh, this was not great.
For me, I think it's like a case of like Nintendo knowing how to bring people into video games in general. For context, my girlfriend is not into video games at all. No. Which is funny because for me it's the opposite. I made it my job. So I think Super Mario Bros. Wonder is one of the few games that I can look at it and say like, I'll try that one with her, as a gateway, as a gateway into video games.
For sure. Now, what I find very interesting, and I'm a lot into that genre. Like I've worked on projects like in that genre. Like I love to see that a lot of this oh my god, I forgot the word of the best family.
Family games.
Yeah.
Our platforms.
I love to see that there are a lot of platformers, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I love to see that. And especially 2D platformers, right? Like I love seeing that renaissance of the 2D platformers, and I hope there are more to come on that. Sonic Superstars is a very solid game, but I wish like we could see something from Sonic, especially 2D Sonic that feels new, that feels like okay, now Sonic is being modernized, right? Sonic is having this revolution, right? Sonic Mania is a better game in my opinion, but I want to see a revolution on 2D Sonic games. I want to see something completely new, like kind of like Mario Brothers.
Might be something worth talking about. What would you do to modernize Sonic in this podcast?
It'd be really interesting. And as for Disney Illusion Land, just real quick, that game I also really like that. Now, best fighting game,
Street Fighter 6.
Yes, Street Fighter 6.
Yeah,
I've been playing a little bit of Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl. Not gonna lie.
Me too.
It's good. It's good. It's a very solid Smash-like game. Not gonna lie. And I like the roster. Like I grew up with a lot of Nickelodeon stuff, so I like the roster a lot. But Street Fighter 6, like, it's hard to make a more solid fighting game.
That game had me scared before it was announced because a friend of mine was working at Capcom and he was on the engines he was an engine engineer, and he was like, man, Street Fighter 6 is looking bad, man. And I was like, what? No, please don't do this. Yeah, the art style sucks and stuff. And this was like a year before it like released. Like
Yeah,
no, before it was announced or something like that. So either they turn it around or his taste is weird, because I think the game looks great.
yeah. No, I think it's great. Now, I think the huge ones here are Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6.
Yeah,
Like, for me, it's Street Fighter 6. Like,
Street Fighter.
yeah, I don't I just don't resonate with Mortal Kombat 1 with its gameplay and stuff like that. It's usually Mortal Kombat overall, like the way they do combos and finishers and stuff like that. Like, it's not the way I love fighting games. That doesn't mean it's not a great game, but it just doesn't resonate with me that much.
Yeah, but the presentation values of Mortal Kombat are
That's
insane.
that's what Mortal Kombat does
Insane.
amazing.
The way they present the story and everything is so good.
No, yeah, like everything. Mortal Kombat is completely based on its presentation, and it does it so elegantly. It does
Yeah, I
it
saw
so good.
the wrapping of Mortal Kombat is great.
Yeah, we already talked about rapping, and Mortal Kombat 1 is a great masterclass on rapping.
This one is controversial.
Yeah,
This
it's
one
gonna
is
be
controversial
controversial.
because
No, yeah,
I'm just gonna say it straight up. It's Baldur's Gate 3. Let's now you can bring your
Yeah.
points forward. It's Baldur's Gate 3 from a Final Fantasy fan. And I love Final Fantasy 16. But under the umbrella of RPG, as an RPG, I actually think it might be the worst of all of them.
now this is the thing. I would not have placed Final Fantasy here
Me neither.
because even Yoshida, even Yoshi P said it's not. As far as I remember, like if anyone knows anything different, please let me know in the comments. But as far as I know, in an interview, Yoshida said it's not an RPG.
Mhm.
It has RPG elements, but it is not an RPG. So even its producer is saying it's not an RPG.
I don't know what it's
Now,
doing here.
if you're gonna be counting all of them here, it is my favorite one for sure.
Yeah.
But I would not have nominated it here. Not gonna
No.
lie.
No.
It should be on action.
Yeah. And now, for the other nominees, I think this is the strongest category so far
Yeah,
because
it's
they're
really
all bangers.
bangers.
They're
Yeah,
all bangers. I loved all of them, regardless of
Yeah,
the problems
yeah.
you might have. They're all really good. I think
Yeah.
Starfield. I think the one that I like the least is Starfield because I think their engine is starting to show its age, and they just are.
I think so too.
They need to change it, and I have issues with Bethesda games in general. We can talk about them later, but it's a solid game, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a very solid game,
It's a solid
And
7 for
huge.
me.
and it's a huge game, and making a huge game that feels that solid, it's not an easy task.
Yeah. Sea of
Not
Stars is a
fantastic.
game I want to talk about in this podcast because I think it's a fantastic game, but I think
Yeah.
it also exemplifies a problem that RPGs of its type have inherently with their design. But I think I'm going to leave it at that in a cliffhanger. We're going to talk about Sea of Stars in a future video.
Right?
But
Yeah,
I think it's an excellent game full of charm.
it is amazing.
Yeah.
It is amazing. Yes. No, I actually love Sea of Stars. It just
Yeah.
does so many things great, and
This is the
even
strongest
improves-
category.
yeah, no, Sea of Stars even improves on a lot of what those of the games it is
Yeah.
based on. It improves so much, right? Lies of P is amazing, man.
It is.
Like,
I was playing it the other day. It's really, really solid. I did not
Yeah.
expect when they announced that it was gonna be based on Pinocchio and everything. I was like, it's a weird setting. Like
Really? I actually got hyped about it.
I thought it was like a weird setting to me. I didn't sell the setting so until I saw like the combat once the game was released and how solid it was. And the art design is excellent. I think it's a good game. I think Lies of P was like I think Lies of P might be the surprise of the year. Maybe I
Maybe.
did not expect it.
Well,
Final
there are
Fantasy
many
16 is-
surprises. There are many surprises.
Oh, yeah.
There's another one coming up that is like what I think it's the surprise of the year, right? But we're gonna talk about it when it
Yeah,
comes.
yeah,
Lies of P to me is such a good game, right? What it does with these good and bad decisions and stuff like that,
Mhm.
it's just brilliant. Like I'm actually
Lying
playing
and
through it
saying the
with
truth and that kind of stuff.
yes,
Yeah, it's really cool.
I actually love. I'm actually playing
This,
through it with my girlfriend. Like my
yeah,
girlfriend loves backsitting, right? She loves backsitting a lot. She's allotted to Animal Crossing, right? But when it comes to those kind of games, she's like, I'm gonna watch you play.
your relationship is very similar to girlfriend reviews.
No, very similar. That's why
Very
I love.
similar. Yeah,
Shout out to that channel because I love them.
I
They
think they're
describe
geniuses.
so many of the games I play with my girlfriend, like, and
Yeah,
they do it so good and so precise. Yes, they're so good.
that channel is like they're geniuses. There's
They're
no other way of
geniuses.
describing it. They're geniuses.
Yeah,
Now, Final Fantasy 16 is Final Fantasy 16. We love it.
I love it. I love it.
We
I love it.
talked half of the night when we finished it. Remember, with theory
Dude,
crafting and like that was so
now,
good.
guys, who like quick story, like we got inspired into creating this channel because of Final Fantasy 16.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
we were theory crafting and doing so many things
Talking
Final
on
Fantasy
Reddit.
16.
Yeah.
Yes, talking on Reddit, and then
Yeah.
playing. We were both on the phone and playing at the same time, trying to figure out the ending. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
when we said, like, we
Loved
should
it.
do this.
Yeah.
So
We should talk
Final
about it.
Fantasy 16 will always have a special place in my heart, and it's my favorite of the bunch. Though I would not have nominated it here.
Yeah. And then Baldur's Gate 3, I'll reserve my opinion for that.
I think it's gonna take it. Like, I'm
yeah.
99.9% sure it's gonna
Yeah.
take it. Though it'd be so cool if Sea of Stars took it. Being an
Yeah.
indie game.
I think it depends on other awards, but it would be cool
Ah,
if
Baldur's Gate
Sea
is
of
gonna
Stars.
take it.
Yeah,
It's
as
such
an
a good.
RPG, pff,
It's hard to make an RPG better than what Baldur's Gate is actually doing.
yeah. Okay, this one is
Oh
interesting.
my god.
This one is interesting.
Okay.
Of course, Zelda. We
Yes.
talked about this. Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, yes. But I want to do a shout out for Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
Alan Wake 2 is impressive. Shout out to Kirill Buyanin, level designer in this game. I always thought he was really talented, and a good friend of mine. And he has been hyping this game for me for the longest time. The longest time. And shout out to that one. And this category is packed as well.
It's packed.
It's
Now,
packed.
yeah. I'm gonna vote The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom by miles and miles and miles to infinity. But
Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4 is just so good, man. Like, I got that game on midnight, right? I bought it digitally on PS5 and I devoured it. Like, I was so hungry, and then finished it and devoured it again. And
So good. So good. The
God.
Mercenaries, man.
Capcom did it again.
And you know which one disappointed me?
Don't say it.
Spider-Man.
Look,
You're gonna talk about it in the future because you're the Spider-Man expert here.
I
But-
love Spider-Man. Like, people are gonna think like, oh man, this guy is the biggest fan of everything. No, it's just that this year kind of attacked me from everywhere. Now, if I'm
this
gonna
year has been
say just
specific.
one, it's gonna be Zelda. But I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I think it is a great game. It is pretty solid. It is better than the previous two games.
Yeah.
But I want to see them focus more on what makes Spider-Man. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. It
I'm just gonna
feels
leave it at
listen, what I think the most fun part of a Spider-Man game is swinging, and I think all the mechanics they added is to stop you from swinging.
Yeah.
They
That's
made,
what I'm talking about on making you feel Spider-Man.
From the approach to listen, it's impressive. The fast travel in that game is impressive. But the reality is that, but from gliding to surfing to everything in that game to me makes it to like, I'm just gonna make you stop swinging instead of focusing the game of making swinging fun. And I think that's what made Spider-Man games unique and special. Is since Spider-Man 2, this is about that freedom of swinging and that gameplay of swinging, and
Yeah,
they didn't go that way. And I think they have the power to make it like a very heavily physics-based swinging, so you
yeah,
can create your own tricks. Not just do
for
what the
sure.
system is telling you to do, but like making a more systemic and freeing, that
Yeah,
is based more on physics, that like would be like incredibly fun. And
yeah,
you would see trick, like the idea is that you should have videos of a Spider-Man game that is just tricks created by the community, like combo videos
yeah.
from the original Smash in the 64. You should have
Oh my god, I
something
love
similar.
those.
Yeah, me too. You should
Yeah,
have something similar in a
yeah,
Spider-Man game. You should have
yeah,
people uploading and making like videos of like, look at this trick that I can do that is really hard because the game is systemic and is based on physics. So the guy just
yeah,
like gets stuck in a pole and spins this way and then goes like, you should be physics based. It shouldn't be just animation based. And I think Marvel Spider-Man 2 just made it extremely animation based. That is my
yeah.
opinion. We'll talk
What I'm
about it
gonna
later.
say, what I'm gonna say on that is that I mean everything on the game, like combat, like everything feels polished to
Yeah.
perfection, right? But what makes you feel like Spider-Man is swinging, right? Because Spider-Man is such an expressive character, right? He expresses, like, even when you see Peter and Miles, they swing in different ways because it's all about expression.
Hmm.
But as a player, I want to express myself as Spider-Man,
Hmm.
right? And having the freedom you're talking about, it's literally player expression.
It's literally that.
What's
It's literally
like,
that.
there's no way to make you feel more than like a Spider-Man than allowing you to express yourself like that, because it's all about expression. Like the Spider-Verse movies, right? Like they show Miles in and all of the art style is based on his expression, right? Like his
Yeah.
graffiti, and it's just expression. And Spider-Man
Feelings
is
are more
about,
important.
yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, I want to feel more like a Spider-Man. It's not like it's not polished to perfection. Like even the swing, the way they
It's a
designed
great
it is
game.
polished to perfection. It is really good. It is really good. It's probably the best Spider-Man game out there. It's
Yeah.
just that.
What
It's
if?
just.
It's a
It's
big
just
what
that.
if. Yeah.
It's just that. I love the game. I love the game, but yeah.
Hi-Fi
Now,
Rush.
for sure, this
I'm
is the
out.
surprise I'm gonna be talking about, right? You said Lies of Peace the surprise of the year. No, like Hi-Fi Rush was literally the surprise of the year. No one
Yeah,
knew
that's
about
true.
this game. Comes out of nowhere, and
Damn,
it's
but this that does well, dude.
Armored Core.
Armor Core 6. Which, by the way, for people that don't know, I like the Armor Core series more than the Soul series myself. I love From Software since the
No, I agree
PlayStation
with you
2.
on that.
Armor Core 3, I cannot tell you enough praises about that game. Oh my god. I love Armor Core. I always loved it. Dead Island 2 I didn't play. Ghost Runner 2 is really fun.
Really funny, yeah.
And Remnant 2 does some really cool things with procedural generation. Like really, 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 really cool stuff with procedural
Yeah.
generation. It actually pushes games forward. But none of them reaches the level of feel
No.
and personality. And just when the industry was tired of game as service and exhausted and everything,
Yeah.
this game comes out of nowhere and tells you this year is gonna be dope.
You know what? Like,
This year is gonna be fire on video game
it's gonna
releases.
fire. Yeah.
Not for the
I
game
mean, Hi-Fi
industry, but
Rush. Hi-Fi Rush is not like a hugely scoped game. It
no.
does a little thing, some like a very small amount of things, but it does them like perfectly. Like it does them to perfection.
And it's hilarious. And the writing is
and it's
hilarious.
hilarious,
That
dude.
Xenogears
Chai,
reference, that Xenogears reference when they go
uh,
onto this mission and there is like a scene that is literally like disc 2 of Xenogears. It's hilarious. The game is really
oh,
funny. So I
Chai,
think
man,
it's
like
Chai, yeah.
I love Chai. I love all of the party, man. Like I'm just literally on the Good Smile uh figurines website, just refreshing the page just to pre-order 808 because I
Wait,
want that
what? I
808.
didn't know.
Good Smile, like they're making an 808 Nendoroid.
Oh
I
my
love
god.
Nendoroids, but I want that 808 Nendoroid because all of its characters have
So cool.
such an yeah, they have such a huge amount
I love erasing eyebrows
yeah,
and drawing them. It's so cool.
yeah.
So it's Hi-Fi Rush.
It's
In
Hi-Fi
my
Rush.
opinion,
It's Hi-Fi
it's
Rush.
it's Hi-Fi
Yes,
Rush. Even
it's
though
Hi-Fi Rush.
Remnant 2 does some really interesting things that pushes the industry forward, I think the whole setup, the whole year, like the whole industry, like Hi-Fi Rush came at the right time to
Yeah.
showcase that is like, hey, this type of game still has a place, and people,
Yeah.
and it was incredibly successful.
Yeah.
I actually going to say that I played surprisingly most of them.
I haven't. Like I only played Resident Evil Village, but not VR. I don't have a VR headset.
I think Humanity is a great game. I think Horizon Call of the Mountain is just a tech demo. It kind of is, but it actually delivers an interesting combat for VR. Gran Turismo 7 is Gran Turismo 7. You're driving a car in VR. For me, it causes me nausea. I have that issue with VR, that I have motion sickness. But I'll say Humanity, in my opinion, is the best VR game.
I'm gonna follow you on that. I didn't play them. All right.
Honkai Star Rail. I actually played it.
Well,
I don't like Ever Crisis. I'm sorry.
I played Ever
really
Crisis.
I don't like it.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, this is very personal, but the gacha for me is like, I know there are some people that love it and are into it, but I just can't get into gacha, right? Like,
I don't like
its loop and everything. Like, it completely gets me out of the game, right? Like, I did give it a shot, like for like 10 hours, right? Like,
Me too.
I tried it so bad. I really wanted to like Final
it.
Fantasy VII Ever Crisis because I was hyped for it. But yeah,
it's not like, it's so much stuff. Like, this is a bunch of outfits, gacha elements. The combat is, I'm sorry, it's not fun. The combat is very automatic. You're like
it feels
clicking
like
buttons when they're full, and I don't see that. Like, the decision making in the combat is so not interesting to me.
Yeah, I was really hyped for it and on how it was gonna tell the story, and then I saw it was like a very abridged version of it.
Yeah,
and it doesn't feel like it has a lot of personality. Again, I see like a lot of people online that are loving it. I just don't.
I don't know. I couldn't get into it. And it's not the gacha because all Hoyover's games are gacha, but I enjoy them. I enjoyed Genshin Impact a lot. I can't wait for ZCC. And Honkai Star Rail, like, it's also like really good. It's really fun. It's a lot of waifus,
sure.
but
now I love seeing Hello Kitty Island Adventure here. I didn't play it, but like seeing it here, and I'm kind of curious about it. Like, not gonna lie, I kind of want to try it. Ever Crisis, man, like I wish it was like a Switch game and just buy once and that's it. I think it would have been amazing if it was a Switch game, like just a remake.
You're like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. I think it's too much Final Fantasy VII, and it's me saying it.
It is too much Final Fantasy VII for sure. Yes.
Yeah, it should be. It should be remake, rebirth, and maybe Crisis Core. And I'm like,
big
maybe.
Sure.
Okay, let's continue.
Okay, moving on.
So, Bemba is on Game Pass. But the one I played is Cocoon. Really fun, really
I
good
haven't
level
played
design.
them. I've heard so many good things about Pizza Tower, but I haven't played them, to be honest. I haven't played these games.
So I'm just gonna go with Cocoon because it's the one I played. It's a fantastic game, by the way. But yeah,
Right. Yeah. 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 Independent game.
Sea of Stars.
Some. Yeah, Sea of Stars. Though Dave the Diver is interesting. It's
I didn't
interesting,
play that
but
one.
for sure, no, for sure. For me, it's Sea of Stars as well. I mean, again, I haven't played the other three. I only played Sea of Stars and Dave the Diver. Dave the Diver is really good.
I love the concept artist of Sea of Stars, Bryce Ho.
No, for sure. Sea of Stars is
He's
just such a good game.
he's so good. His Pokemon illustrations are like so good, and he
Yeah.
draws from pen to paper directly without any previous reference or line.
Yeah.
He just goes whip, masterpiece, and it's
Yes.
insane.
Yeah.
Sea of Stars. I don't know. I loved it. I think it's important game in the industry because it says that there is a genre out there that is neglected, that is like the traditional Japanese RPG,
Yeah.
that is having a resurgence with the Star Ocean, Star Ocean 2 remake. Which, by the way,
and also like it's about to release Super Mario RPG, right? Which
mhm.
directly inspired Sea of Stars. So if you like Super Mario RPG, like try Sea of Stars. Like,
but
it's
yeah,
such
I
a good
adore
game.
Sea of Stars. I adore it.
It's so
But
good. It's so good.
we're gonna talk about it later in this podcast because there is an inherent issue with this genre that is gonna be very interesting to discuss. Let's move on.
Move on. Yeah.
Let's community support.
Oh my god.
I think Baldur's Gate. I'll tell you why.
Baldur's Gate is being huge. Yeah. Go ahead.
Because Baldur's Gate didn't do what Cyberpunk did, you know, or
Yeah.
like it doesn't try to rip people off, or what No Man's Sky did originally, that they came out incomplete and not great, you know.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate from the beginning was completely honest and said, this is an early access, we're releasing chapter 1 and using this to improve the game, and they took their time to improve the game until it showed.
Yeah.
No, for years they're listening to their community through early access to make the game. And this is it's not just Larian's DNA saying this is like the game where like it's not just Larian's DNA, it's also the with Divinity, right? The Divinity original scene. It's their approach, the real and honest approach to early access that made this game what it is. So even though Final Fantasy 14 is fantastic and No Man's Sky is great now, and Cyberpunk 2077 is like a Phoenix Rising story, Baldur's Gate 3 went from the beginning with open arms and honest heart, saying this is early access, let's go together. We can make a great game.
I definitely have to agree on that, though. Like, it's very interesting to see how like most of these games actually came out at first and they were not loved
at all,
and they became great games.
Yeah,
right. But definitely, like, I have to agree with you on Baldur's Gate 3. Like, it being as huge as it is right now, it's definitely deserved due to their honesty.
Yeah.
No? For sure.
I'm gonna say Final Fantasy 14.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like they keep listening to community. It's a little bit having problems with balancing and being casualized now. A lot of Final Fantasy 14 right now. So a lot of older players, a lot of people that have been playing for a long time are having issues with the game right now, which is a similar path that happened to World of Warcraft, and that's
exactly what I was gonna say.
And I'm scared about it because you need to keep bringing this is one of the issues that with live service games is that they are opposing forces by nature. You're trying to keep your players in your game for a long time, and for that you need complexity. You need a high ceiling to strive for in all live service games. You need complexity to build up so that people keep learning new stuff, but as you keep adding complexity, people get left behind. People get left behind, like as they come back into like they join the game for the first time. But live service games cannot exist only with their current fan base. They need to keep
No.
increasing it, which is why games that have lasted so long. I know I sound like a broken record by mentioning Warhammer again, but there is a reason why Warhammer needs to reboot and has several new games and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Is because
Yeah.
Warhammer Fantasy: The Old World had like overwhelming complexity to the point that it was like dropping players like flies. So what they did is reboot Fantasy, call it Age of Sigmar, and rewrite the rules to give it a new direction. And then after that,
Good.
years after that, they released The Old World again. I think
Dude,
Final
you
Fantasy
don't
14.
even you don't
Yep.
even have to go that far. Like Fortnite right there, like is doing it right now. They re-released the original map, right? And they re-released season 0 or season 1
Yeah.
just because of that, right? And
Yeah.
Fortnite has been rebooting itself more than once because players start getting left behind and they need to get new players, right?
Exactly.
And
So they need to reset
eventually,
the meta.
yeah, and Fortnite has a little bit of a resurgence right now. Not that it was ever dead or anything close, right? But it is having its a little bit of a resurgence right now because
Epic is losing
they
money. So
rebooting. Eventually, they eventually go back in full circle. A loop, guys, a loop. They eventually go back in
good one.
loop
That's a good one.
and bring back.
There's
right?
a life
World of
cycle
Warcraft-
for these games. There is a life
Yeah.
cycle. Yeah.
World of Warcraft did the same. Now there's World of Warcraft Classic. You know,
Yeah, but now World of Warcraft Classic is going to Cataclysm.
but
So
yeah,
that's World of
exactly.
Warcraft Classic Cataclysm. So they're
Exactly.
like stuck in an infinite pool of like in an infinite loop of like madness.
But people are reliving it. People
No,
are like, if
because
people
the
is like,
reality is that they should be releasing World of Warcraft 2. But they don't want to put the resources on
they
that.
don't wanna. And
They don't
eventually,
want to
like,
put the resources on that. Because the
and
reality is that they need to scrap everything and keep things moving forward. The moment they launch Warcraft Classic, World of Warcraft Classic, there should have been an announcement for Warcraft 2. But or a new RTS from World of Warcraft. That's what I really want, but whatever.
Games
for impact. I think this category is really interesting, but at the same time, I feel all games should strive for this.
Yeah.
You know,
I think so.
I played Chia myself. I want to play Venva. It's on Game Pass, so I downloaded it recently.
Yeah.
But that's all I gotta say, to be honest.
No, I think so too. Yeah. I'll agree with that. Innovation in accessibility.
This is so hard. Accessibility is so complicated. I had to deal with it constantly. It's like you have to check your inputs so precisely. Now I'm gonna say Marvel Spider-Man 2, and there is a reason. PlayStation has a specific team that is a brilliant group of people that is focused exclusively. I work with them myself. That they're focused exclusively on accessibility, and there is like psychologists in that team and everything. It's insane. It's an insane team. This is how The Last of Us accessibility features were so complete, and this is why Sony games accessibility features are so complete, is because of this team. So I'm just gonna have to mention Marvel Spider-Man 2. I'm also going to have to mention Street Fighter 6 because of their new controller schemes. But fighting games inherently are hard to make accessible because of the competitive nature.
But I love what Street Fighter 6 is doing there, and so much so that a lot of I have seen a lot of pro players, or I saw when the game was released, that were actually like thinking about moving to the new playstyle, right?
Yeah.
Like Street Fighter 2, through its accessibility, is actually innovating itself and innovating like fighting games. So Street Fighter 6 also has something there to actually compete against Spider-Man 2. But yeah, I think Spider-Man 2 will actually take it. Like Sony's just so into that, so
Yeah.
into accessibility. I think even The Last of Us had like this mode where players could actually play it, like blind players could actually
Yeah,
play
yeah.
through it.
Comes from that
That's
team.
not
Comes from that Sony team. It's quite impressive. Now here I'm
exactly.
gonna
That's
say
just
Ben Star.
not,
Oh, sorry.
dude. Wait, you're rushing through it, but all right.
Yeah,
Um,
sorry. It's like
I
it's
I think so too. Ben Star, like man, Final Fantasy 16 was just not.
yeah, the performance in that game, yes.
Everyone did a
Eh,
great job, to be honest, but oof, Ben Star, man,
my question is if Idris Elba win, would he be there?
that was gonna be very interesting. I don't know. I mean, Keanu Reeves was like this.
Yeah, but Keanu Reeves is the coolest dude in the planet.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe after Keanu Reeves, he will actually do so. Anyways, like Ben Starr, like Clive
Ben Star,
Rossfield.
yeah.
Clive Rossfield is such a good character, and he played it so good.
Yeah, so good.
Audio design, Hi-Fi Rush.
Dead Space.
Hi-Fi Rush.
No. Like
know.
Hi-Fi Rush, maybe Hi-Fi Rush, but what Dead Space did with his like the their system that creates new tension based on a director with
Yeah.
sound is like really interesting. So I would say
I
but
don't know,
Hi-Fi
but
Rush,
Hi-Fi
I don't
Rush,
know.
like the sound design was inherently part of the game design in Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, that's true.
More
That's
than most games, right? Like we know that if you fire a gun in a game, like you need to feel it through sound. But Hi-Fi Rush took it to another level, right? Like
Yeah.
now that the sound had to motivate you into following the beat and rhythm.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
I think Hi-Fi Rush.
You changed
like
my
I'm not.
mind.
Yeah, I don't think any of these games has no right to be there. Like they all have amazing sound design, but Hi-Fi Rush is just based on it. It's part of its
Yeah.
game design.
Yeah, I'll say here.
I'll say no comment. You know where I'm gonna be voting later.
Anytime you have to admit
Anytime.
it's not the best at everything.
It's the best as everything.
I'll
but
go
Final Fantasy
with-
16 has amazing music.
Yeah, I'll go with Final Fantasy 16
The
myself.
score is amazing.
But I don't know, because I like Baldur's Gate 3, but it would be a spoiler, but like there's quests that are tied to the music of the game. There's a specific bard, and the bard class is like, honestly, being a bard in this game is a menace. The insults are hilarious.
Yeah,
But anyway, that's different.
Like, have you seen Final Fantasy 16's cutscenes with that score?
Yeah, that's true. I'll say Final Fantasy 16 myself.
Best art direction.
I don't
Everyone
know.
here is a banger.
Yeah, everyone here is insane. Insane. I won't say
No.
Zelda because the art direction is significantly similar to the Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
like
In that sense, the art direction of Tears of the Kingdom is significantly. This is one of those cases in which Zelda Tears of the Kingdom doesn't benefit from Breath of the Wild. So no, I'm not gonna say the best art direction is on Tears of the Kingdom. I will say it's between Lies of P and Hi-Fi Rush. I've spoken.
yeah, but have you seen Super Mario Bros. Wonder? Charlie Brown's
Yeah.
aesthetic. Oh my god!
I love it. Yes. Hi-Fi
Lies of
Rush
P,
looks
to
better.
me, Lies of P feels like extremely similar to like a From Software game, like Dark Souls and stuff like that, which is what they're aiming for. They're aiming for that.
So
So
the mechanical
they-
design of the enemies is insanely cool.
yeah, I don't
It's
know.
really cool.
I don't know. I'll still be voting for Tears.
I'll say Hi-Fi Rush. Baldur's Gate.
Narrative. Final Fantasy 16.
Baldur's Gate.
Final Fantasy 16. Man.
What Baldur's Gate does with narrative is
No, let's see. Like outstanding storytelling and narrative.
But I need to finish Alan Wake 2 because I heard the story of Alan Wake 2 is insanely good. But I'll say Baldur's Gate 3 for now.
Man, but Final Fantasy 16's like its cutscenes and everything. Like
Yeah.
They did it so good. Like Final Fantasy 16 narratively, it's so
So
good.
good, so good. I love the way they did the 100% kind of meta ending, that you only
Yeah,
understand the ending if you played the side quest.
yeah,
I think, yeah, but I think also that the narrative of Final Fantasy 16 kind of drags. I'm gonna say like there is sections of the narrative in that game that is like the overall plot is great, but the padding on that game was substantial from substantial. Like, I'm sorry, gathering the pieces to make the ship from for like, what's her name?
for myth.
Yes, thank you. For
Yeah,
me, like, I am sorry, I am a little bit like the pacing of the narrative is not fully there.
yeah. I mean, I haven't played too much Baldur's Gate, but I'm pretty sure it has like something at that point, right? Like I can't probably say something about Baldur's Gate like that, but
No, because it all
I
constantly
don't
matters.
know.
It's all constantly matters. It's like it changes significantly from act to act if you did certain side quests or not, and they all tie together significantly, and you can do them. It's not that you can do
Yeah,
them in any order. You can literally finish them without knowing, and then you go on. It's like, oh yeah, I already did that several times. He's like, hey, I'm looking for this character, and he's like,
but
she's in my party, bro.
I
And he's
mean,
like,
I
oh,
still think Final Fantasy 16 is so focused, right? Even if you only play through the story, it feels so focused. Even with the
I
padding, it doesn't feel
I
like.
wish he was more focused. That's
I
my
think it
thing.
feels super focused.
I wish Final Fantasy 16 was more focused. I wish it was more focused. And I think that
I
in the
don't
case
know.
of Final Fantasy 16, it did its story. Each his story beat is great, but they did story beats in the wrong order. I am sorry. The fact that you have a relationship with Jill after the 5 year skip is completely unbelievable. Completely.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a lot of issues with Final Fantasy 16's narrative, that I'm sorry, like that. Yeah, every Final Fantasy has issues with narrative. To be honest, all of them tend to have like that thing that is like, why did you do this? And
Yeah.
in
Some
my
more than
case,
others.
to be honest, you should have gone through Jill's story arc when you're in the volcano before the 5 year skip with Sid in your party, and then start a relationship there and develop the romantic relationship along the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, I see
The-
that. I see that. Yeah.
like they're doing story beats in the wrong order for some strange reason, and that is the part that for me it's like it for me. The presentation is great, the story overall is great, but the pacing is off in Final Fantasy 16. Now, that being said, I also don't think Zelda should be here no, wait,
Best game
this is
direction.
best game direction and game
No,
of
no,
the year. So
no. Go back, go
no,
back,
no,
go
no.
back, go back.
We
We
were
were
on
that
narrative.
was narrative. We're
Sorry, my bad.
narrative.
Yes.
Yes. No, that's
I
narrative.
also I don't know. I haven't played the new. I haven't played Phantom Liberty myself, and I haven't
No, me
finished Spider-Man
neither.
on
Me
Alan
neither.
Wake 2.
Like me
I've been
neither.
playing them,
So
but it's hard to finish all the good games that came out this year.
no. This year it was packed. But for me, it's Final Fantasy 16, and like a contender would be Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is for me. Like, to be
Now,
honest.
if it's pure out of love, I'm gonna say Spider-Man as a contender. But yeah, Baldur's Gate. Best game direction. Like I'm gonna say this, it took a lot to actually say let's reuse on Zelda, let's reuse a lot of what made Breath of the Wild and go through all the backlash we're gonna go.
Yeah, I can
It took
see
a
best
lot.
direction. I can see best game direction being Zelda. Like the
Best game direction.
mechanics, the changes to level design, the plot twist there. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I
it
see
takes a
it there.
lot.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, like, as much as I love the game, like, it's not. I don't think they took these hard decisions after New Super Mario Bros. Right?
Yeah, no.
I don't think they actually went through that. I'm not saying that it's not a very well directed game, but I think it was substantially easier than something like Tears of the Kingdom or Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah. I think Tears of the Kingdom, in that sense, it not just like it took what it needed from Breath of the Wild to do what it planned to do in a reasonable scope.
Yeah, and like even
And
after
it
some people, sorry, go ahead.
No, and it expanded significantly
Significantly, yeah.
the formula. So
Yeah, so to me, iterating in that way is hard. It's hard iterating
yeah.
and like literally going against everyone who's like, oh man, this is just DLC, when in reality it's not. The direction the game took is huge.
It's significant, yeah.
It's huge. Now Baldur's Gate 3 is also huge.
Yeah, I know, dude. That game, Jesus Christ.
And Marvel's Spider-Man 2, like I again, it's a very solid game. I just don't think
it's a solid
they
game.
went through. I just don't think they went through the hardships that Legends of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom or Baldur's Gate 3 must have gone.
Yep, agreed.
Right? Like even if you just take the time between releases, like it tells you a lot of the game direction. Game of the year.
Baldur's Gate for me. Let me like I know you're gonna say Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, and he's up there, but Baldur's Gate 3 actually pushed the industry forward and shut a lot of executives up. It really did, because Nintendo,
I agree on that.
Nintendo made solid games and they were always making a lot of money, but it was always Nintendo. So a lot of executives and producers would go into the game industry saying, it's Nintendo. Nintendo does its Nintendo thing because they have their own console that is incredibly successful, so they can sell those games. We need to make live service games and multiplayer games, otherwise we will not succeed. We will not make enough money. Baldur's Gate 3 comes and shows a middle finger to all those producers and all those people that are just like saturating the market in live service games. We're gonna talk about a theory that might happen in the game industry. A lot of people in the game industry, you're already starting to see it in the game industry, that a lot of people are like getting laid off. A lot of people, so there's a crash in the game industry coming. In my opinion, we're gonna talk about it like soon. But Baldur's Gate 3 makes so much money from the words from Larian. From Larian words, specifically like talking to someone from Larian. They told me that the last time they checked, they sold 11 million units. This was months ago.
That's a lot.
That the current number that Larian has, approximate, because they haven't had the exact figures, the current number they have, Larian has, approximate, is around 20 million units sold.
That's a lot. And they're still missing the Xbox release.
They're missing the Xbox release, and it's a mostly single player. It has co-op multiplayer, but let's be honest, there's a higher emphasis
mainly for single
player. It has it's a solid, no microtransactions, not live service game that made all the money in the world just by being really good.
Yeah, I agree on that. Like, more than saying who should win, like I'm still gonna vote Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Guys, you're starting to know me. I'm still gonna vote for Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. More than saying that is saying I do believe Final Fantasy 16 should be here. I
think Final Fantasy 16 should probably be here, but also Street Fighter should be here.
Yes, Street Fighter 6 should be here, right? And I know they just want to reduce it to 6 games, right?
Then Spider-Man should not.
Don't hurt me. no, I definitely agree, right? Like,
great game and everything.
Again, I do think it's as perfect as a Spider-Man game as it can be, and as it was meant to be and designed for, right? But I do believe, if you take into consideration this splash this game is making, right, and where it's moving the industry, that game is moving the industry forward, right? Like, I do believe Final Fantasy 16 and Street Fighter 6
Should
did
be
more than Spider-Man,
absolutely,
right? Right.
absolutely.
I definitely see all of these games being like why they are here as the game of the year. I definitely see all of these games. All of these games
Except
are pushing
Spider-Man.
yeah, exactly. All of this, even Resident Evil 4 being a remake, like it's pushing the industry forward. All of these games are like what now designers will go and see, like, this is the reference. This is what we're striving for. This system is amazing. This is all of these games, right?
Yep,
But
absolutely.
Spider-Man feels like it could have been more and push it even more. Insomniac is so good. They have such a good team. They are probably one of the best teams ever. Sorry if my dog is barking.
No, Insomniac is one of the best teams out there.
It's one of the best teams out there.
Yeah.
But I want to see them play it less safe. But
Agreed.
all of these games, like Resident Evil 4, man, like Mario,
Agreed.
like I'm not even gonna
Agreed.
say Zelda, like all of these games, man.
Yeah. Agreed.
I don't think like replacing should be the option. I think they should have just added Final Fantasy 16 and Street Fighter 6.
Ideally,
They should have just
this
added it.
nomination should not be just 6. Ideally,
No.
you would bring every candidate that has potential to be Game of the Year. Ideally.
Yes.
But VGAs
Definitely.
has something against fighting games. I'm gonna say it. Like when Smash came out, it should have been nominated to Game of the Year in Smash Ultimate,
Yeah.
and it
I
never
think it
did.
was, wasn't it?
No, it
It
wasn't.
wasn't?
And
Oh, yeah, not for Game of the Year. It was nominated for Best Fighting Game, but not Game of the
yeah,
Year.
exactly. So
True.
I think
true.
the VGAs
Yeah.
have something specific for fighting games not being nominated to Game of the Year. But the reality is
Yeah.
that, in my opinion, Street Fighter 6 should be here.
Yeah.
But
Street Fighter
now,
6 should be there.
who do I think should win is Baldur's Gate.
I'm gonna go for Zelda again, guys.
I know,
You're starting
I
to
know.
know me. You're starting to
I
know
know.
me, guys.
I know. So
Yeah.
I think this is our opinion on the VGAs. I love Baldur's Gate. My brother loves Zelda. We both love Final Fantasy. I think that has been
Mario
obvious. But
Wonder
the
2.
reality is that it has been one of the best gaming years
Ever.
in my memory. Yeah, and I
Yes.
think I haven't felt this level of like excitement for video games since like the year 2004, 2005, and 2006. Those 3 years
Yeah.
for me were like a
For
peak
sure.
in video game industry. You know,
Dude,
uh,
it was so like the gaming year was so great that even 2D Mario was nominated for Game of the Year. Like,
Yeah.
2D Mario, man. Like usually 2D games don't get, like,
Yeah.
2D platformers don't get nominated because their scope is less and all that stuff. But
It
even
was-
that is nominated, and
Yep.
I can and I definitely agree because Mario Bros. Wonder is just
yep,
godlike.
it has been fire. It has been
It's-
fire.
It's
So
tasty.
I have an idea for you, Mao. Like putting it in the podcast. I think that our next video should be the games we played this year, our favorite games
Definitely.
that we played
Oh,
this
for
year.
sure.
I
would love
have them
that.
all written down. So
Don't
it
be
can
surprised which game is gonna be my favorite. But yeah,
No,
For sure.
but they don't
That's it.
necessarily have to be released this year.
all right.
So what did you play this year that blew your mind? Because I have a list of what
Right.
I played. It can be retro, it can be super retro, or it can be like.
No. I'm
Yeah,
actually going through Luigi's Mansion 3 with my girlfriend right now.
Also, it's not just video games. Because I think for me this year has also been special in the introduction of board games
Right.
and
Yeah.
consistently playing board games. So I want to bring that up as well. As game designers, we have to. So
All right. Yes. That's
I
interesting.
think that's
yeah.
gonna be our next video. I need to go.
Dude, do so. I'm starving to death. I'm gonna go eat as well.
So
And Yuna needs to go out, which you might have noticed that she was like
barking.
all needy because it's time for her to go out. Now, guys,
Because
I
she
take
knows
her
the
out 2
future.
to 3 times. I take her out 2 to 3 times a day. So, guys, and for like
Yeah,
30 minutes at least. So, guys, she has a lot of attention.
And she has a garden to play and a backyard and everything.
Yeah,
So
no,
she's
no.
fine. She's a happy dog.
She's fine. She's a happy husky.
She's a happy husky. So don't remember to subscribe, comment, let us know if you agree, disagree, if we don't know what we're talking about or you agree with what we're saying.
Yeah.
So
Don't kill me for loving Zelda and voting for Zelda.
kill my brother for loving Zelda. So
all right, guys,
have a good
thank
one,
you so
guys.
much.
This is the Game Design Perspective. See you next
Have a
time.
good one.